The Suzuki Grand Vitara and Toyota Urban Cruiser are subcompact crossover SUVs. What that means is that they're based on small cars just with a lifted ride height and a bigger body. The Nissan Juke, BMW X1, Land Rover Evoque, and Lexus UX are not SUVs. They are subcompact SUVs. So the Suzuki Grand Vitara is basically a bigger Suzuki Baleno. The engine, gearbox, and many of the components are the same, which means it has the same power and torque as the smaller, lighter Baleno in a big SUV package like this. So in this video, we're going to find out if that creates a car that feels slow and sluggish, and why Suzuki didn't go with turbocharging. We're also going to cover the cost of ownership, fuel consumption, and all the features this car comes with. And yes, we're also going to drive it. Welcome to Car Fever. The Suzuki Grand Vitara and Toyota Urban Cruiser is developed by Suzuki and produced by Toyota in India. When this car went on sale in April, I was quite baffled by what they built. It wasn't turbocharged. It had a 5-speed manual or 4-speed automatic transmission, all of which aren't the newest technology. Suzuki does have a 1.4-liter turbo engine, which is available in the non-Grand Vitara and the current generation Swift Sport. That engine makes 103 kilowatts and 220 Newton meters, which would be closely matched to the 1.5-liter turbo in the Haval Jolion, which makes 105 kilowatts and 210 Newton meters. The Vitara with the 1.4-liter turbo comes with a 6-speed manual or automatic transmission, is still available brand new from 400,000. How? It may not have the latest design, but having a turbo in a car like this is a big advantage. You'll see why later. So what were Suzuki thinking when they put the same 77 kilowatt and 138 Newton meters 1.5-liter naturally aspirated motor from a Baleno in a car as big as this? It just didn't make any sense. At the moment, there are 3 Vitaras available. There's the Vitara with the turbo engine, there's a Grand Vitara with no turbo, and a Vitara Brezza with the same no-turbo engine. It is so confusing to actually understand what Suzuki is offering. What's worse is that the cheaper, smaller Vitara Brezza has the exact same components as the more expensive Grand Vitara. So Suzuki just took the same old components, redesigned the body, added some newer tech features, and called it a whole new car, right? Suzuki has 3 crossover SUVs with the name Vitara in them. So I guess it's all up to the buyer then. What a way to confuse buyers. I couldn't understand it. So I spoke to a very good person at Amala Suzuki to highlight the philosophy behind this car.
I am Mohammed from Suzuki Almelo. I'm the sales executive, and I'm here to introduce our new Grand Vitara, which came out just 3 months ago in 2023. So in around March, April, it actually launched. So I'm here to introduce this amazing vehicle to you. This is our latest Grand Vitaras, which were launched just 3 months ago, but it's got all the features which you are looking for in every car. So to start off with, looking at your chassis, we are running on the new system, which is the high-tech system, running on tensile steel, which is the strongest steel but the lightest steel in the world. So we are running on one curved chassis, unlike before models was running on more like a curved chassis, so you're using more metal plates keeping the chassis together, which made it heavier from there. Now we are running on a one system curved chassis, which is running from the front to the back. So which means also the body of the car is lighter. That's why you are saving on fuel as well. Right. Coming into the vehicle here, you are looking at your keyless entry, push to start, reverse cameras. But these amazing ones here, you're getting your full 360 view as well, live view, security, just to give you an idea of what is happening in your surroundings. So your 360 starts off with the inner of your car, giving you a very, very close up, to the outer, giving you a surroundings, and then giving you a top view of the vehicle, which gives you a clear view of what is happening around your vehicle. If you're looking at our radio size, that is a 9-inch touchscreen radio. The amazing thing with that one there is, if you drop it in reverse gear, it splits into two. So on the one side you get your 360 view, and the other side you get your normal reverse camera. And with that as well, you get different options on what to view on your screen. And then if you come to your cluster, on top of the cluster, we also offer you the HUD, which is the heads-up display. It's a glass display which pops out of on top of your dashboard. That actually can give you an idea of what speed you are driving. It gives a digital clock. You can either change it also to see what oil temperature. It gives you your oil temperature, oil level as well. And with that, there's other options to view with that. We also offer you a full panoramic sunroof. This is actually amazing. One of our only models which came up with a full panoramic glass sunroof with also synthetic leather interior. So from the steering going onto the seats, you got a very rugged look of the dashboard as well. So I mean, this is the future. Grand Vitaras here are running on a 1.5 liter naturally aspirated engine. So if you're looking at your maintenance, also it's low because you've got no engines or anything boosting your engine. It's a naturally aspirated 1.5 liter, which averages around say 4.9 liters of fuel going up to 100 kilometers. Your power in this here, you're looking at 77 kilowatts of power, which is actually excellent for this kind of vehicle. It carries the weight excellent. Like I say, you're running on the new chassis system, so it is light from bottom to top. That's why if you give your petrol, you feel immediate effect.
And with that, let's take it out and see what it offers. This model is the Grand Vitara GLX manual, coming in at 397,900. So if you finance this car at a prime interest rate of 11.75% with no deposit for 72 months, the monthly installment will be 7,727. Insurance on this car is cheaper than most of its rivals, coming in at around 1,400 per month, bringing the total monthly cost of ownership, excluding fuel, to 9,127 per month. Included is a 5-year 200,000 kilometer warranty and a 2-year 80,000 kilometer service plan. From that, you should be able to see that Suzukis are cheaper to insure and cheaper to maintain than the other rivals. The exterior design is very fresh and appealing to me. It's not a bad looking car, although I think Toyota styled it better with a more aggressive look with those sleek headlights. Also, the Toyota is a bit more expensive. On the inside, this is where the Grand Vitara sets itself apart from all the other Vitaras. And yes, being the same car, the Toyota Urban Cruiser's interior is identical to this one. The GLX is fully spec'd with a touch infotainment system with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, a 360-degree view camera, reversing camera, and parking sensors. What's impressive is that you can have your 360-degree view camera alongside your reversing camera, so there's no excuse to ever scratch or bump into anything. And yes, the people wanted it and Suzuki listened. This car has the optional panoramic sunroof that so many people wanted in the Baleno. And when you're driving with the sunroof open, it feels pleasant and airy. Plus it has all the modern creature comforts one expects in a car like this. At the back of this car, it does feel a little bit cramped when compared to the Haval Jolion, but it does have decent legroom for my driving position. Why do I keep comparing this car to the Haval Jolion? Because it exists, it's real, and I see it everywhere. It's priced around the same price point as this car, while offering more performance but worse fuel consumption. The Haval Jolion has a bigger boot space of 430 liters versus 373 liters in the Grand Vitara. But let's answer the more important question: how does it drive? So welcome guys to the interior of the Suzuki Grand Vitara, and we're just gonna go for a test drive, and I'm gonna get a feel of how the car feels and how it drives, and then I'm gonna give you all the information about it. So let's go. So driving the Suzuki Grand Vitara, I can tell you I expected it to feel a bit sluggish. But this 1.5 liter naturally aspirated motor carries this car very well because it's very light. So it doesn't feel like the engine can't handle the weight of the car at any point of driving. It's very linear because it's naturally aspirated, and it's not turbo fast. I can just say that, because it doesn't have a turbocharger, which makes things simpler mechanically, and it may impact the longevity of the car. So it may last longer because it's a naturally aspirated motor and it doesn't have to deal with the turbo heat issues and the more complications of the turbo engines. So this is the car you can buy for longevity and know that it will last a long time, because it's very simple mechanically. It's very identical to the Suzuki Baleno. So it's a crossover of the Suzuki Baleno. It shares the same engine, most of the parts, most of the architecture. You can say it's almost the same car, but it's in a much bigger format. Plus with the sunroof, because people were complaining that the Baleno doesn't have a sunroof, so this has a sunroof and you can enjoy open air while driving it. And I can honestly say, for a big car, it feels really small. It doesn't feel as intimidating to drive as other SUVs, and it handles the bumps very well. It is a bit jiggly, but that's what you get with a higher ride height. But overall, the cabin inside is quiet. You can really drive this car and enjoy it, and really intuitive to use, because Suzuki built cars for drivers. If you've ever driven a Suzuki, you know that that car feels like it's a driver's car. It doesn't feel too isolated. You actually feel the steering input, and the gear shift in this Grand Vitara is amazing. Really, really amazing, like all the other Suzuki products. driving around town, it feels very confident. It feels very nippy. That 1.5 liter producing 77 kilowatts is enough to carry this car and its weight. And one thing I didn't expect is that this engine has enough torque so that when you're in gear and you just need some acceleration, you just put your foot down and it gets going. It's not quick, as you feel it has to build a lot of revs to actually get going. But thoroughly I can say I'm impressed by this car and how it drives overall. And as a crossover SUV, this one is probably one of the most dependable ones on the market right now. My final thoughts on the Suzuki Grand Vitara. After experiencing what this car offers, I walked away knowing it is a good car. But just like with every car, it has its strong and weak points. The big weak point being the power of the drivetrain. To really get up to speed, you need to push this car hard. You'll experience the same thing when you need to overtake. You need to be in the right gear, rev it out, and just wait a long time for it to get up to speed. It just won't be as responsive as a car with the turbo. And that's why the Haval Jolion is such a huge success. It does have that turbo engine, which makes it feel way quicker. Other than that one major weak point, there's so many good things about this car. It's simple, low maintenance, and it's going to be long lasting. It really is a quality product, which will never be a disappointment to whoever buys it. To be able to judge it correctly, I'd need a long-term test car to really see what it's like to live with on a daily basis. And with that, thank you for watching. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing so I can bring you better, more in-depth reviews like this. See you later.
Upon me, blood in my eye, dog, and I can't see. I'm trying to be what I'm destined to be, and niggas trying to take my life away. I put a hole in a nigga for fucking with me. My back on the wall, now you gon' see. Better watch how you talk when you talk about me, cause I'll come and take your life away. Many men, many